Hi folks, how are we all doing? I'm the Reverend Danny Crosby, Unitarian minister in the north west of England, serving congregations in Altrincham and in Urmston. I do hope you're finding love and some blessings in life during these very difficult times. It is hard, my friends, but we're all in this together. I'm offering these devotions as my little bit of hope, playing my role as best I can in being a part of the solution. I have no medical skills, so I offer these devotions as a balm for the heart, the mind, the spirit and the soul. The title for today's reflection is It's a Mystery to Me. So invite us together to join together in silence as I light the chalice flame. Let's invite a loving presence to be here amongst us and to awaken from deep, deep within us. I have lit the flame of freedom in this cup of belonging, acceptance and love. A great listener. Teach us to consider how others experience the world, to understand how my reality and their reality may be different, and yet we share the same qualities of the same core desires, the same body, the same blood, the same spirit, formed from the same earth. Teach us to listen for shared feelings, for places of connection. Teach us to be curious and open to hearing differences. Teach us to love into brokenness, to give space, to be patient, to be with healing, to be a healing balm for a suffering world. Help us to be strong in our vulnerability, in our not knowing, in exposing our less than perfect, scary bits to those in our lives and those not. Give us courage to face judgment, scorn and hatred because of the greater good. Help us to be disciples of essential goodness, strong in our knowing that in each being there is a divine light of the soul. We are all part of the one universal soul, all aspects of this same being. Give us the strength to keep feeling empathy, even when we are tired and we are broken and we are frightened. Keep us open, keep us connected. Stop us from closing in. Help us to invite the other into our being. Help us to invite, to be open. For in so doing, you can feel the empathy through us. Help us to be channels of thy loving peace. Help us to be channels. Amen. I'm going to begin with a very short tale actually, which is taken from Eduardo Galeano's book, Walking Words. Pilar and Daniel Weinberg's son was baptized on the coast. The baptism taught him what was sacred. They gave him a seashell, so you'll learn to love the water. They opened a cage and let a bird go free, so you'll learn to love the air. They gave him a geranium, so you'll learn to love the earth. And they gave him a little bottle sealed up tight. Don't ever open it, so you'll learn to love mystery. I find this idea beautiful. As they blessed their child, they gave him these gifts, gifts that reminded him to love the elements that make up life. The final gift that they gave him was the sealed bottle, which they asked him not to open. They wanted their child to learn to love mystery, to learn to love the unknown. Now, a friend of mine asked me, when I shared this story once, why they didn't give him a gift that signified fire. To which I answered, well, that's a mystery to me. I didn't write this story. I then thought about it again and said, well, maybe the fire is the mystery. Maybe the fire is the mystery. You're not meant to touch that either, are you? Maybe. Maybe you know the answer, because it's a mystery to me. Maybe, maybe not. Let's wait and see. Who knows? Life offers so many gifts, perhaps the greatest of them all being the mystery, the unknown. Yes, we can learn about things, about everything pretty much. One of humanity's greatest attributes is this thirst for knowledge and understanding. And yet I reckon we still know so little about anything and everything. And that's something to celebrate, actually, the unknown, because it gives us the thirst to know. The more that we know, the more we realise how little we actually know. It's also worth noting that the search for knowledge does sometimes have negative aspects. Sometimes this search for knowledge leads to us failing to simply appreciate the gift and beauty of being alive. To just be sometimes. If we are constantly looking for what is new and exciting, we may fail to appreciate the beauty, the people, the love that we're surrounded by. Maybe this time when we're having to lock down, it gives us time to appreciate what's very close at hand. Maybe. We need to learn to love life, but we must also learn to love the mystery too. For if we do not, we may not really love life at all, only the component parts of life, not the wholeness of life. If I have learned anything about life and love, I have learnt it's far more than the sum of its parts. What makes up life is far more than what makes up life, if you like. Life is more than its individual little parts. Life is a mystery to me. Now, I'm not talking about the component parts that make up life, those material aspects. I have a reasonable understanding of them. What I mean is life as we actually live life, the experience of life, of human life, and of course love. I am a total mystery to myself, by the way. Although I have gained a great deal of self-knowledge and know myself well, I am aware I'm still a total mystery to myself, and I'm sure I'm a mystery to most of the people who know me. Well, that's what they tell me anyway. And the last couple of weeks have revealed much of this mystery to me. Oh, my ever-changing moods. I'm sure my wife Sue, my new wife Sue, my new bride, thinks I'm a greater mystery as the days go by. But the love grows stronger. Now, despite the physical restraints that we're all living under, I am experiencing a deeper sense of connection to that mystery that runs through all of life, that mystery that binds life together. I have noticed as I have opened up to the grief and the pain, as I observe those I love struggling at times, a deepening sense of connection has intensified. I have felt held, strengthened, guided, and most certainly loved. I cannot explain this by breaking it down into its component parts. All I can talk of is what I have experienced. It has brought a deeper sense of belonging, which has led to a deeper sense of freedom, despite not being physically constrained, actually. I feel freer in a strange way. I feel closer to life and the people I share and have shared my life with, those no longer here. I feel a deeper sense of that love that I name God, that which Rudolf Otto named Mysterium Tremendum et Fascinans, the tremendous and fearful, powerful, fascinating mystery. Excuse my Latin there, by the way. There's a poem being singing in my soul as well these last few days, and it's another one by Rainer Maria Rilke, or Rilke. The poem is To Music. It's a beautiful poem. Music, the breathing of statues, perhaps the quiet of images. You, language where languages end. You, time standing straight from the direction of transpiring hearts. Feelings for whom? Or you of the feelings changing into what? Into an audible landscape. You, stranger, music. You chamber of our heart which has outgrown us, our innermost self transcending, squeezed out, holy farewell. Now that the interior surrounds us, the most practised of distances as the other side of the air, pure, enormous, no longer habitable. I love this poem, particularly those 7 simple words, as the other side of the air. These 7 simple words have been with me during this time of physical separation. Those 7 simple words have grown in meaning of late. They've really, the mystery in them perhaps is revealing something in my heart. And I suppose this is the place that I understand those that I have loved and are no longer here now dwell. Not some distant place, nor nowhere at all actually, merely the other side of the air. No longer physically present in life, but on the other side of the air, the other side of the breath of life. Rilke was influenced by the Sufi mystical tradition. The Sufis saw the universe divided between a physical world experiencing the immediate and a spiritual world beyond. Rilke saw art as a kind of portal between these worlds, if only a fleeting one. For Rilke, art had a transcendental function. For Rilke, art created something akin to the Celtic idea of thin places. Art created spots of time moments that linked all time and all space. You can see these elements in the poem. The poem begins by describing music as a language where languages end. Music is a universal language that speaks directly to the ears of our hearts. It also suggests that the usual rules of the physical world are suspended by great art. The poem describes statues that breathe. It also suggests that the normal perception of time is altered by art. In this case, that music becomes a portal if we know how to listen to it with the ears of our hearts. Music and art for Rilke have the capacity to carry us to a place of deeper understanding, to richer and more mature perception. Art therefore bridges the gap between head and heart and transcends the limit of pure reason. That said, it can also be dangerous as it breaks the security of our perceived knowledge. But we need this to happen. We need to be cautious about our safety, for it is this that liberates us from the shackles of what we think we know. Lay aside what I think I know. It's the most important prayer I say. Keep me open to something new. If I am certain of anything in life, I am certain of the dangers of certainty. Of all the dangers present in life, it is this I need to watch out for the most within me, because I can batten down. Certainty seems to shut down the heart and the mind. Certainty seems to always build barriers and close shutters. We need more bridges and portals in life, not barriers and walls. We need them we need these bridges and portals between each other and within ourselves, between our hearts and our minds. And we also need to live as openly as we possibly can. The problem with certainty is it often lacks true humility. And perhaps the most beautiful thing about humility is that humility breeds openness. I'll probably talk about that in another devotion. But back to mystery and how the mystery of life operates. I was recently reminded of a conversation I had with a friend just a few weeks before I began my training for the ministry, some 13 years ago. Some 13 years ago, we were attending an event in Altrincham, held in one of the buildings at the chapel where I've served these last 10 years. Now, this friend I was going to this meeting with is not a Unitarian. It was not a Unitarian event, it was something else. And as we got out of the car and walked towards the building, my friend looked at me, looked across the road at where the minister at that time lived, and he just looked at me and said, "One day, you'll be the minister here. You'll be the minister here when your training ends." Now, how he knew that, where that came from, I have no clue, but I remember him saying it. And he said it in such a matter-of-fact way too. He kind of saw what was coming. Another mystery, I suppose, and I'm the kind of person that says you must always be wary of soothsayers. Well, it's good to know that I'm wrong about that sometimes too. There has been much suffering in my journey towards ministry. There's been much suffering within my ministry. There's much suffering now, but there never is despair. Meaning, mainly in the guise of love and service, has always emerged from the pyre of pain. Life is a mystery, but a beautiful one at that. Yes, there is much suffering, but there is also so much joy if we just stay open to it. You can't filter one out, though. You must take all. Life doesn't work like that. I'm going to end my devotion today these words before a final blessing with an extract from a sermon delivered by Forest Church in the year 2000 at the beginning of a new millennium. Here he's reflecting on a cruise he took with his mother. So it's an extract from the sermon, "The Angel and the Deep Blue Sea" by Forest Church. In any event, with a clear conscience, I devoted an entire week, as every son occasionally should, to caring for my poor creaking mother. Because she had the entire ship as an audience, I even managed to reread four Saul Bellow novels. In all, it was a notable expenditure of time, and my soul is clearly the better for it. There was also the sea. I grew up in the mountains of Idaho, but the sea has always captured my imagination more than even the mightiest peaks. Not only in contemplating the horizon which beckons one's mind to thoughts of eternity, but in pondering the hidden depths and mysteries beneath the surface. Whether I look out over the ocean, if I am paying attention, I experience humility and awe. Whenever I look out over the ocean, if I am paying attention, I experience humility and awe. Humility in reflecting on how tiny we are in the whole scope of things. Awe, a wonder tinged at times with a hint of terror at the unfathomable depths and unsearchable breadth of creation. As it is written in the 13th chapter of the book of Proverbs, 3 things are too wonderful for me, 4 I do not understand. The way of an eagle in the sky, the way of a snake on a rock, the way of a ship on the high seas, and the way of a man with a woman. Physics, anatomy, biology and psychology can begin to decode such mysteries, but knowledge has its limits. Quoting an academic study, my newly rediscovered old guide Saul Bellow recently observed that on an average weekday, the New York Times contains more information than any contemporary of Shakespeare would have acquired in a lifetime. That includes Shakespeare himself. The Times is a fine paper. I read it every day. But for all its information, it only hints, and then only occasionally, at what Shakespeare knew so very well. That the beauty of the bird, the symbol of the snake, the courage of the pilot, and the power of human love will always be touched by mystery. We don't need something unnatural like a virgin birth or the stopping of the sun to prove our faith. Neither do we need a gigabyte of data to disprove it. Beyond all proof or disproof, we need only reverence for life itself. Contemplate our awe-inspiring connection over millennia to thousands of human ancestors, and ultimately to everything that lives. It's a mystery to me, but a beautiful one. Be open to it. I'm going to end this little reflection with some words of blessing. You know, we can all bless. We all need to bless more. May our lives become blessings to one another. So for these final words of blessing, I invite us once more to be still and silent together. In our lives, may we know the holy meaning, the mystery that breaks into every moment. May we live at peace with our world and at peace with ourselves. And may the love of truth guide us in our everyday. And may we carry this love with us, and may we do so in all that we feel, in all that we think, in all that we say, in all that we do. Go in love and peace, my friends. Amen.